get out of the ring, I cough, and my tooth falls into my hand from the back left side. And yeah, that's something I'll never forget. I still have the tooth with me.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3, back once again on the Takedown on SI Sports Illustrated with another exclusive interview. This time we're talking to independent wrestler, actor extraordinaire, sponsor extraordinaire, Vinny Pacifico. I've been looking forward to talking to you on this platform here and introducing you to some people who probably don't or will know about you very, very soon. So, Vinny, how are you doing?
SP3, thank you very much for the introduction. I'm doing very well. Just went to the gym, had my meals in. I got some stuff done. Great news. For those who do know, my grandma's been very sick for the last couple of weeks in the hospital. She comes home today. So it's a very, very good day so
Good.
far.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that. So I've talked to you in the past. I've talked to you over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. I've talked to you over on Fightful. But this audience, I wanted to give them like a proper introduction to you and how you got into the professional wrestling world, because everyone has their own story on how they became a pro wrestler, and you have your own story. Being from the East Coast, I love hearing any of my East Coast brothers, getting into the business. So kind of give us like your introduction, how you discovered pro wrestling as a young kid, and then how you got into the business.
Great question. So I started out watching wrestling from this SmackDown versus Raw 2007 game. My cousins were playing it. I said, "This is awesome." Started watching it, became an instant fan right away. John Cena, Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, Boogeyman. Those are the guys who I just like mesmerized. And then throughout the years, I was playing football. And at some point, I was 14 years old in high school playing quarterback. I said, "Dad, I'm lucky to play on this football team, but I want to wrestle. I don't think uh, I don't think football's for me anymore." I felt like I wanted to do something different, and I didn't want to go through life with any regrets. So I started training at 14, along with Sonny Kiss, Mike Orlando, Aaron Bradley, a lot of really good people. And yeah, it was just from there, I just didn't stop. I started out with two of my friends from high school. They quit, kept training, and then eventually started training at Ring of Honor Dojo. That's when things got really good for me under John Gresham, Cheeseburger, Red Titus, Delirious. Amazing talent, amazing people, and learned so much from them. And I get to travel the road with on Ring of Honor and wrestle for Ring of Honor and travel with them. And it was great experiences. I learned so much in the ring, outside the ring. I've been blessed to wrestle some amazing talent and learn from some of the best in the game. So that's how I kind of got my start. And then I just started traveling as much as possible. Everywhere I could go, I would go. I did a few European tours. Um, but again, it's learning from John Gresham, Delirious, Cheeseburger, those guys. They are such good human beings that it was easy to learn from them because they were just great people, and it makes things easier to learn from people who are good people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I learned a lot of life lessons from them, and yeah, so that was I'm very grateful for my time there, and I use what I've learned all over the world now. I've wrestled in so many countries at this point. I'm very blessed to say that I've been all over the world. Japan, Puerto Rico, Netherlands, Romania, Hungary, Germany, France, Finland, England. I mean Canada. It's been crazy. And I'm just grateful for everything. It's very hard work. Takes a very long time. It's mentally taxing, but I'm very grateful to be where I am now.
So you tell about your, how you got into the pro wrestling world. I know you told me in the past you have a fun story before you actually started like really getting knee deep into being a pro wrestler, where you were able to meet Brian Danielson, if I'm not correct.
Yep, I went to a meet and greet in the city. My father. It was I was like so excited for it. I had a few of my friends with me. Had a meet and greet with Brian Danielson. I asked him for advice. I was like, "Hey, you really inspire me. I love you. I would love to know. I would love to start wrestling. Do you have any advice and insight?" He was so motivational. Like he's like, "Go for it." He took his time to talk to me about it. Gave me some insight, and that's something that was special to me, and I'll never forget that. And I hope down the line, I pay that forward when people ask me for advice. I always want to be motivational to other people, but he's somebody who I'm sure a lot of people have got inspiration from him and learned from him and love his work. So yeah, that was an amazing experience meeting him, and then that was when I knew 100% this is what I'm gonna do. And then yeah, I've it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey.
And like you said, you've been all over the world. Like usually on this channel, we're talking to, some people that have been in WWE or AEW, some of the top promotions. Kind of tell us like your perspective of being an independent wrestler and how like what's the biggest struggle and what's the biggest benefit that you get from being in that part of the business, still trying to kind of make your name in the business to get up to the stature of the people. Like we've had an interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin on the channel recently. We had an interview with Speedball Mike Bailey after he went in AEW. But for you as an independent wrestler, you have a totally different experience and perspective. Kind of give us like the rundown of what a regular day is for you and what's your biggest struggle, what's the biggest benefit that you get from it.
Really good question. You know, a struggle that you may face as an independent wrestler is you don't have the backing of a major brand behind you. Luckily, I've had brands like G Fuel Energy and Bang Energy sponsor me, but that's separate from pro wrestling. So I would say in wrestling sense, um, having a brand behind you, pushing you, and like promoting you on their pages with millions of followers. You know, as a independent wrestler, you're your own brand, you're your own business. You are in control of your social media. No one's gonna do anything for you. That's for sure. So, for example, I constantly have to plug away social media, do my emails, do my media, do everything like everything possible that I do. You have to do it yourself. No one's gonna tell you what to do. No one's gonna force it. There's no blueprint on how to make it. Everyone has their own journey. You know, I've been lucky enough to get into some movies as well, so that's helped me out a lot in terms of just meeting great people and being around people better than me and elevating my value a little bit. But I really think as an independent wrestler, it's a never ending grind. You have to wake up in the morning. I get up 5 a.m. every morning, go right to the gym immediately, have my first meal at 8, work out, and I go back to the gym at 2 o'clock and do my second workout of the day. I don't stop. But in between, I'll do I set up podcasts, do my podcasts, I'll do my inquiries, I'll answer emails, but and then film content. That's a whole other story. You have to constantly do that. So it's a never ending grind of just constantly working and doing things to better yourself and grow and get your brand out there. And I've been very lucky to have the things that I've had, and the brands. And I had a viral moment and on an indie show, and Bang signed me after that. So it's Bang Energy, sorry. And it's been just a crazy journey to say the least. And but yeah, as an indie wrestler, I would say it's great that you get to have the freedom to do what you want to do and be able to go the direction that you want. But a drawback would be having the backing behind you. You don't have that as an independent wrestler for the most part. There's a lot of big companies on the indies that push guys and it's great, but nothing beats the big WWE or AEW.
And like you said, you were able to kind of have like a viral moment, and that's very helpful for being an independent wrestler to get like a clip or a match that goes out there and goes across and gets people's eyes that might have not already seen you before. So, kind of tell us how you got that viral moment and how you've kind of parlayed that into the different sponsorships that you have. Like, I know G Fuel as well as Bang Energy and the energy drink and that whole kind of persona that you've created. Kind of tell us like how you got to that point and how you made that viral moment.
So I have this new character where I will, wrestle. I'll come to the ring with energy drinks, backwards hat like Staten Island. You know how it is, and get to the ring and then have the energy drinks. And I would do a spot where, in hulking up towards the end, I'll drink the energy drink and hulk up and you know become power punch. Like hit the power punch. Power up the punch with energy. So that's kind of like the premise. And I did a spot in DOA in Portland, Oregon, and it went viral online. And 3 days later, I got an email from Bang Energy with a contract. And Bang Energy was one of the biggest companies in the energy drink industry. That went great for a little while. Then they had some legal issues with their. They had a lawsuit going on, so they got rid of their athletes. G Fuel Energy picked me up right after that, and that's helped me out tremendously in terms of growing my brand, getting so many new fans from all different types of walks of life. You know what I mean? G Fuel has a huge, huge fan base, so that helped out a lot. And then the funny thing is, I was working with New Japan, and the week after I got with G Fuel, I had New Japan, and I did the whole Power Punch energy drink spot on New Japan. It went viral as well. Really cool moments, and I it's just I've been very lucky to be in the spot that I'm in because I know it's not easy as an indie wrestler, but I tell people you have to be willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do, you know, and sleepless nights. It's exhausting, it's tiring, it's mentally taxing. But if you could believe in yourself enough and work hard enough and be persistent enough, things will happen for you.
Definitely, you're very much an inspiration. The way you talk, the way you present yourself, and like you said, you've had these opportunities with the bigger promotions, like you just mentioned, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and more recently, you were on AEW Dynamite. You were
Yes.
involved in a six-man tag team matchup against the Ops, Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata, and you had a little moment there, a moment that physically affected you. So tell the people about that matchup with the Ops and what came out of it for you or came out of your mouth involving that.
It was a great opportunity though. Really fun to be on TV. Always, I've been to AEW like 4 or 5 times already. Always a great time, and working with Ring of Honor years ago, seeing a lot of guys backstage is always cool to have the follow up with them and see them. But going back there was awesome. Shibata is a hell of a talent. You know, we wrestled. I go to the corner, gave me a nice drop kick right in the face, and I heard a crack. So 2 weeks prior to that, I had the front tooth of my front tooth chipped. A guy headbutted me right in the face and it chipped. Got that fixed by my dentist. And then I'm at AEW, I get drop kicked, I hear a crack. I'm like, oh my God, please tell me it's not the front tooth again. Thank God it wasn't. I get out of the ring, I cough, and my tooth falls into my hand from the back left side. And yeah, that's something I'll never forget. I still have the tooth with me.
You do? You
Yeah.
that's a collector's item. You're never gonna forget
Oh
that
my
moment you were
gosh.
in there with a bona fide legend in
Yep.
Shibata and he drop kicked your tooth out.
Crazy, crazy. I heard the crack. I was like, "Uh oh, that's a tooth." I don't know which one it was, but that was the tooth. Really cool moment. Really, really cool moment. I love wrestling on television. It's always something special to get in front of an audience like that. Always.
And you've been able to kind of parlay your success on the independent scene in pro wrestling and having these experiences in AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor into other facets of being a performer. And you recently announced that you had a new TV show that was reported on Fightful's In the Weeds. But tell us a little bit about that, where you kind of announced that there and what it's about and what kind of involvement you're having in that.
So how it started out was I was wrestling in Hungary, and I got booked for a major movie coming out soon, Frequency of Miracles. It's based off The Secret, where people get interviewed and they tell their life story, their mindset, how they do with their how they their journey and ways their mindset works in terms of success. And I've been lucky enough to be along legends. Les Brown is a legendary speaker. Dr. Bruce Lipton, amazing, amazing people, and so I got to do that, and people backstage were very impressed. People who on set were very impressed with how I spoke. The way I told my story. They were inspired by my story, which is really cool because these people are legends. So I got the opportunity to be introduced to the people who run a new TV show coming out very soon called Men Speaking. It's a mental health based TV show, which includes like a celebrity, a Navy vet, a thought leader, and another person. So it's four people sitting at a table, and they just talk about their experiences, their mental health, how they deal with it, finding self love, and all those awesome things. And I got booked to be a part of a future episode. It's currently being worked on. Um, and I just got booked literally on like Monday, I think, or this past weekend. I got booked on it. So yeah, it was really crazy to get like that opportunity because Frequency of Miracles got to tell my story to a whole new audience. It's gonna be on Amazon and Gaia, and then getting on the TV show, kind of getting to tell my story and how the mental health struggles we deal with as a wrestler and shine some lights on pro wrestling as well, which is a really cool thing to get to do. And yeah, it's just been a really cool opportunity to get booked for both. And I already did Frequency Miracles. Like I said, it was an amazing experience. Filmed it in Miami, amazing experience. And then I'm going to be filming pretty soon, Men Speaking. And then literally 3 days ago, also I got booked for a UK TV series. It's a fiction one, so it's going to be more of an acting role instead of a like interview based role. But really excited about that one. That's going to be awesome. I don't know. I can't give full details yet about everything, but I do know it's going to be in the UK. It's a new opportunity, and it's going to be pretty awesome.
Well, talking about like dealing with your mental health, like you're one of the people that I know in the wrestling business that is just so positive, just has such a positive outlook on life, a positive attitude towards the business, towards what you're doing. How do you kind of keep that same mindset, that same energy all the time with all the ups and downs, all the traveling that you have to do in pro wrestling to kind of like give the audience kind of that perspective?
It's not easy, but I feel like if you're gonna do your best at anything, you might as well do it with a smile on your face, right? Or do it to the best of your ability. And I'm not always happy. I'm not always positive. I'm not always happy go. You know what I mean? I'm not always like this, but 'cause I deal with my own mental health struggles. You know, I have I it's not easy. It's taxing. Wrestling's very taxing. You know, traveling across the country, then back, no sleep, nonstop travel, wrestling constantly. It's mentally taxing. So I've learned to try and be grateful in the struggle and try and be happy in the moments that don't seem to be the best for you, you know. So it's not easy. You have to mentally prepare yourself to always try and see the positive of any situation. So any opportunity you get, make the most of it. Any situation you're in, try and be positive about it. You know, try and find the positive. There's a positive at everything. When you get an opportunity, you get something given to you or something in front of you, you could look at it any which way, negative, positive, or neutral. I think why not look at it the most positive way possible? Because why would you look at something negative when it's so easy to be negative? It's so easy to choose the negative path. But if you just take the moment in your head and take a step back and think the positive way, over time, you'll train yourself to see the good in things. So that's kind of where I've been mindset wise, is just seeing the good in things and trying to make the most of every opportunity given to me.
So to kind of tell us more about like doing acting, because I know like it's one thing to kind of tell about your own experience with the other projects that you're doing. It's a totally different kind of way of thinking or way of going about the job when you have to act and be somebody else or play a different role. So kind of tell us like how that transition is for you, still coming up in the wrestling business, but now kind of doing a small transition into the acting world.
So, so I will say, to be announced, I have been on I filmed a upcoming wrestling TV series, fictional, right? But I
Yeah.
played my character. I played Vinny
Okay.
Pacifico, so it was very easy for me to get into character and
Yeah.
be who I needed to be. But I've done some other stuff where I'm like practicing, and because I know that I have some roles booked out for me that I'm gonna have to be somebody else. So I've studying on YouTube, looking up um, YouTube, like a bunch of different things to learn from, and also asking advice to people who are better than me. I guess I met a lot of people in the industry who are really really good actors, so I would ask them their advice. I know I'm very good at improv because of wrestling. I've always have been, but I still want to be able to perfect certain things so that I go into these opportunities acting going forward best of my ability. So I really want to be able to be the best me possible, and that takes practice. As an actor, you have to be able to get as an actor. You gotta be malleable. You gotta be able to do everything. If they ask you to be a villain, you gotta be a villain. If they ask you to be a good guy, you gotta be a good guy. So that's something that I've been practicing and learning from, and just taking notes from whoever I can that is better than me.
It's a great way to think about it, especially when you have to play kind of different roles and you don't sometimes you don't know what you're going to be reading for or
Mhm.
what type of role you're going to be having. So it's a good way to kind of think about it and axing other people in the business. So to you, as I know you're someone that watches the business, who do you think off the top of your head are like the best actors that are wrestlers? And that could be, it could be people that are in movies and television that are wrestlers, or it could be people that in their roles you think they're great actors for the professional wrestling genre.
Great question. I will say to your point, wrestling has helped me out become a really good actor. I will say I am I am where I am because of wrestling, right? Wrestling has gotten me here. Just the constant promo practice, being different characters, being different situations, it's helped me out more than anything. But answer your question, I think the best actors in wrestling are The Rock, John Cena. I think Randy Orton's phenomenal. Um, Triple H is I mean I will say I Chaperone, I love that movie, so I will give that a little, a nod. But yeah, the best of the best are John Cena and The Rock. Those two guys, hands down. Cody Rhodes played did some good roles as well, but John Cena and The Rock are hands down like the biggest in the industry, and I think seeing how they've transitioned to do both, it's crazy. It's really really cool to see, and how amazing they are. How amazing they are at both roles. For me, wrestling will always be number one. I want to always put wrestling first, but I'll always take opportunities. But I want to be so busy that I could do both. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, so it's just been yeah, so I would say John Cena and The Rock are two guys that you have to be able to look at and try to emulate them and see like, wow, look what they could do. Look what they start. Like you have to watch their journey. As a wrestler, you could sit back and see how their journey started. How they started out and then how they grew, and then you start to see some similarities. Of like how they transitioned, some acting roles they get in between their storylines and wrestling. Like during their wrestling career, they get some roles. They do things in between and then they get a big role and then they blow up. It's really cool to see how that works. And hopefully for me, I get a massive role pretty soon and that's something happens for me. But I will say, like, I'm studying their success. And I'm learning how they got to where they are. They had WWE behind them, which is great. They had a massive they had the company behind them. But
Yeah,
also, just trying to emulate certain things about them and the way their road has been is a way that I try to emulate or study from.
I did not expect to get some love for the chaperone on this interview, so that put a big smile on my face. So going to Rock and John Cena, since I know that you looked at their work both in wrestling and out of wrestling with their acting roles, and seeing that you're studying that form of what they do as well. Give us your the best John Cena film, the best The Rock film
Wow.
to you.
I really enjoyed um what was that Disney movie The Rock did years ago? It was The Game Plan.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
I
game
enjoyed
plan.
that
Yeah.
one. I haven't watched it in a very long time, but I enjoyed that one as a kid. Um I like Doom. Remember Doom with The Rock?
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
fun. Um Jungle Cruise, Jumanji, those are also fun. But Cena, I enjoyed The Marine. That was like the big break I believe he got with acting. But there's a movie he did recently, Ricky Stenicki.
Yes.
That is the funniest movie I've ever seen. So I was on a plane flying back from Switzerland with my wife, and after a tour, and she fell asleep, and I'm watching it, and I'm belly laughing this movie. Like I'm bouncing on in my seat 'cause it's so funny, waking her up, and I laughed so loud, people looking at me like I have 10 heads, but I could not. That's the only movie that I've ever laughed like that in my life. That's my favorite. One of my favorite movies in terms of comedy. I love that movie. That was
I love
great.
that.
You see that movie? You saw it?
Yes, yes, it
It
was a
was
good
so.
move.
Oh
So I
my
wonder,
gosh.
you brought up, you have your wife, you've been dealing with, your family as well, and then you have the independent wrestling, you have TV shows, you have movies. How do you find a balance in everything you're doing? Because you say you always want to stay busy. So how do you balance out having a home life, having your time with your wife, having your time with your family, the independent wrestling, acting, and everything else that you're doing?
It's really not easy. I do it to the best of my ability. I balance things the way I feel I do best. So I guess I could say, I would not mind risking an overnight flight home to get sleep on the plane, and wake up the next morning and do what I gotta do at home. Right? I would not like. You have to sacrifice lack of sleep. You know, uh, non inconvenient like trips or flights. You know, you have to, and that's I feel like okay, I'll deal with that if I could deal with inconvenient travel or sleeping on a plane or whatever it may be to get home and be able to just do what I gotta do. I will take that sacrifice and I will deal with it. Right. I will deal with lack of sleep. I will deal with all that. But over time, seeing my family needs me, I've been really trying to, do the do the best possible job at, being like Superman. Like that's what they say. You gotta be Superman. You gotta wrestling. You gotta do. I wrestle constantly. I travel constantly. But then I have my grandma who is very, very sick, who I have to be there for. So my grandma, being sick, I've had to take a lot on, wrestling wise, getting home in time, being there as much as possible. So I guess balancing everything possible is not easy. And I've done it for so long that it's kind of comes easy for me. But again, it's dealing with sleepless nights, sleeping on a plane, you know, missing out on birthdays. I've oh my gosh, I missed beautiful birthdays, funerals, weddings. I missed it all. So I try now to be smarter with what I miss. You know what I mean? And my grandma being very sick, I've tried to be there for as much as possible, and my wife as well. So I do my best possible to take care of my people who I love most and just do the best possible. I do my best. At the end of the day, I feel like if you have a lot on your plate, as long as you do your best and you realize what you need to do to take care of what you got to take care of, you'll be fine.
So I wanted to give you a chance to kind of do any plugs or shout outs that you can, because I know you're doing so much going on, whether it be in the professional wrestling world with your all your bookings there, Frequency of Miracles, your the TV show that you're doing, as well as I hear you're doing a T-shirt brand as well. So I want to give you this floor to kind of get it all out there, kind of run down the list of everything that you got going on for the audience watching.
Thank you so much, my friend. So I just Frequency Miracles came along. My buddy Tony Doty gave me a phone call. He's executive producer, um, and he was like, "Hey, I have the opportunity for you. I think you'd be great for this." And Daniel Resnitzer also. Daniel, he's also a guy who saw a lot in me and gave me opportunity. So these people were just saw something in me, and they gave me the chance to be in this film. And it's a major film. It's gonna be amazing. I think. I can't wait for it. Um, so Tony Doty is somebody who is like, again a producer in Hollywood who sees a lot in me and gave me the opportunity to take this head on. And ever since then, it's been a steamroll. Men Speaking. It's another TV series that I've gotten to be going to be part of as well. And I'm very lucky to have Tony in my corner. He's an amazing person and somebody in the industry of movies and TV shows who sees a lot in me, and that's something that you really want to have on your side. And he's a great person as well. He has a great heart. Him, and his wife, great people. And yes, I just opened the T-shirt line called the VP Brand. VPBrand.shop is the website. It's a motivational, mental health, self love. Brand to really promote motivation, loving yourself, and finding the value and the love. It's just a motivational, really motivational t-shirt line, right? Pretty much. And I've had to go through obstacles to find self-love. I didn't always love myself, or I didn't always believe in myself, but I've been trying to push the message of find yourself love and find your worth, that love yourself enough to take the chance on yourself, to believe in yourself, to chase that dream, to move forward, and to everyone has a dream. You have to believe in yourself to be able to do it. So our first t-shirt is No Storms, No Stories. That's the first t-shirt we released. um and it's got a lot of eyes. People have been, as we haven't launched yet, but it's the website's there, vpbrand.shop. And yeah, so like it's a motivational t-shirt line, and we're gonna be using quotes on shirts that motivate, inspire, and hopefully move some people to do better to do good things.
That's awesome. And tell us about the TV show as well, and anything else you want to plug. I know you are doing so much going on with your wrestling world, and where they can find you on social media, as well as where they could find you at their next wrestling event.
I got a lot of wrestling going on this Sunday. I'm going to be at Fight Pro in New Jersey, tag team title match. Me and Ray Jazz. April stacked. I got some dates in Florida for CCW, Miami, Doral, Orlando, Three Legacies Wrestling, SPO Wrestling. It's really excited. That's gonna be a really fun match. It's a major show in Harrods Casino. I have some interest in going back over to Germany, France, Belgium, and a lot of overseas stuff that's in the works currently with wrestling. I just have to figure out dates and plans, and find out what time works. But I very much want to go back to France because I really enjoyed my time in France wrestling there. I would say the wrestling scene in France is bar none one of the best you could go to. The UK, of course, as well, amazing. So I have a lot of overseas stuff that's pending. I have to find out best time to go, but really exciting stuff. Men Speaking is going to be a TV show coming very soon that I'm going to be a featured part of, about mental health, self love, defining the journey and embracing the hard parts of life and becoming the best you possible. And that's something I'm very excited to be a part of because, again, inspiring people is something I love to do and try to help guide people and help inspire others to do good things. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Vinny Pacifico, Twitter Vinny Pacifico one or X, and Facebook Vinny Pacifico. And yeah, just tons of traveling, tons of stuff going on. I'm very blessed to say the least. I love what I'm doing, and I hope that I inspire others and chase the dream.
Love talking to you always, Vinny. Thank you so much for your time today. I always appreciate talking to you, whether it be on any platform, but I'm glad we got to speak here on the Takedown on SI. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you for having me.
All right, fellas. All right, everyone watching, ladies, gentlemen, and in between, we appreciate y'all for joining us for this latest exclusive interview on the Takedown on SI Sports Illustrated. This is Vinny Pacifico. I am SP3, signing off until next time.